Hi, I'm Howard Hesseman. Welcome to We Do the Work, a new program about working people, our jobs, our history, and our community.
We load the ship, we serve the meal, we build the towers with plant the field. We use our minds, we use our hands to work. We do the work. We do the work. We do the work. We do the work. This is our land.
You're swimming in debt. Give me another $500 million or the deal is off.
Oh, I'm a little short. Can you give me a break?
Not a chance. Come on, cough it up.
Okay, wait a minute. How about I convert some common stock and some high-yielding shares? Raise $50 million on a junk bond offer? Restructure the airline? Recast the hotel as a partnership? That should get the cash flow going. Then I can auction off a shopping mall and a car dealership? That should do it.
Throw in the art collection.
The art collection? No way, man. You're squeezing me. How about 12% market share in my department store?
I want the art.
No. All right. But I get 2 seats on the board.
Sharp deal. All right, yes. Now it's my turn. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, I'll take my 200 million for pass and go, plus Eastern, thank you.
Why do you get Eastern?
Because I landed on it on my last turn. I paid enough. Don't forget, I get the workers, too.
Wait 1 minute. You landed on community cheat.
What the hell's a community?
Ha ha. Here, take one of these.
Workers on strike. Share values fall. Pay bank 100 million interest. Forfeit next turn. No way.
Hand it over.
1, 2, 3. It's not fair. What do they want to do that for? Somebody's gonna pay for this.
My turn. Okay, here we go. Oh. 1, 2, 3. TWA. Nice little money maker. 3 billion. I'll buy it. Ooh, now comes the part I love. What am I gonna do first? Let's see. Put some capital into the company? Huh? Buy some planes. Expand routes and airport gates? Improve maintenance and service to the public. Nah! Let's sell it all!
Yeah! Piece at a time.
How much for the planes, huh? And the ramps, and I got some furniture from the lounges, and I'll even throw in some of the little people who work there.
Well, I'll take the pilots and the machinists if they agree to wage and benefit cuts. And if you throw in your get-out-of-jail card free.
Oh, I can't help you. I sold that to Boski.
Your planes aren't worth a damn. They're old enough to vote. All right, throw in the flight attendants, and you got a deal.
Oh, not my stewardesses. I love my little stewardesses.
Okay, my turn. 5. 5. United Airlines. Well. Looks like I'm going to be flying the friendly skies. How much?
7 billion in cash. Where are you going to get that kind of dough?
I got it right here. 3, 4, 5, and I'm 2 billion short. I'll be a son of a gun.
Tough luck, cowboy. My turn.
Hey, not so fast. I'm going to make an offer here that I think you're going to find very attractive.
Isn't that against the rules?
It's our game. We make them up as we go along.
That's right. All right, I'm going to give you 2 bills at 18% if you throw in the gates at O'Hare.
I like that arithmetic.
How about 17% plus 1 billion in high-yield junk bonds?
Ooh, I'm in for 15%, but you gotta promise a big cut in labor costs.
Yeah, how about some layoffs?
Yeah, and concessions, too. I love concessions.
Okay, boys, let's buy ourselves an airline and have some fun.
I'll be CEO.
I get to train a stewardesses more.
What are you gonna do? Well, I'm gonna go up in the cockpit and make the announcement.
Oh, no. Look who's here. Who let them in here?
We want in this game.
The men in the story you've just seen treat the buying and selling of airlines like a game. But in reality, the people who work in the airline industry know that a corporate raid is deadly serious business. For the past several years, employees at United Airlines have been on the edge of their seats because of the threat of leveraged buyout, a takeover. Most of them know when a raider comes in, workers are often the ones who pay. You're about to meet some of the workers at United and see what the threat of a corporate raid looks like from their point of view. You'll also hear about the solutions workers have tried to come up with to save their airline. Welcome to the Buyout Zone.
Really, it's just greed. That's all I want it for, is a big dollar.
United Airlines is a family. Now we have these outside people coming in, and they're just chopping it off like it was okay. It's a piece of junk.
So I have nowhere to go if I leave here. I have no education, so and it's real scary because I'd lose my house and my car and just about everything.
It's not surprising that workers at United are nervous. For the past decade, they've been on the airline industry roller coaster and have watched their counterparts at other carriers take a dive. To understand why, you have to look at what happened to airlines in the 80s.
You have a nice day. Thank you, sir.
The biggest changes started in 1979, when the U.S. government deregulated air travel. The number of takeoffs has nearly doubled since deregulation, but the percentage of lost bags, flight delays, cancellations, and safety violations has increased dramatically, too. And fares to areas outside airline hubs are more expensive. Although things have been bumpy for the passengers, the heaviest turbulence has been felt by airline workers.
Well, when the airline industry was deregulated, they basically forgot about employees, and they took a lot of the restrictions off of what companies, the airline companies, could do. And then the second thing that happened was in 1983, Frank Lorenzo, who had recently at that time purchased Continental Airlines, put it in bankruptcy and unilaterally cut his labor costs in half. And that really just sent the entire industry into a tailspin.
In addition to the drive to cut wages, deregulation also meant that airlines could be sold off piece by piece. They were a ripe and profitable target for a new breed of 1980s moneymakers, the corporate raiders. In order to get into the game, raiders need very little money down. Instead, they borrow the money to purchase the property, then sell off the assets to pay off the debt. To a corporate raider, an airline is a cash cow. Billions of dollars flow through the gates each week in an airline. That money can be siphoned off to pay debts or buy new businesses. When the airline comes up short, the raider can either sell more planes, routes, or property to raise cash, or go for concessions and save money on wages to workers.
There's a lot of disagreement as to the value of a corporate raider. I mean, some feel that the raider is a threat to management, and therefore puts a very significant incentive on management to perform, to manage well, to produce results. The others say corporate raiders are in there purely for economic gain and are willing to destroy, a company for that gain. and the lives of its employees, and there's probably a bit of truth in each case. I think each.
Hirsch says that TWA's corporate raider, Carl Icahn, was able to use the cash flow from the airline to make money on investments in Texaco and USX. Aaron Bernstein's book, called Grounded, looks at the role Texas Air's Frank Lorenzo played in bringing down Eastern Airlines.
Lorenzo just kept cutting the airline up in order to keep running it while he waited for his showdown that would allow him to cut the labor costs. And when the showdown finally came, the airline was just not in a position to keep running, and it went into bankruptcy 5 days later, and that's where it is to this day.
Eastern, was a very good company. It's a very old company, and, now there's hardly anything left of it right now.
These people who are retired, who've given all these years, they may not get any retirement from Eastern, and it's it could happen at United.
Roger Ipana has been a United mechanic at the San Francisco maintenance base for 20 years. His wife, Edme, is a United flight attendant with 16 years seniority. The Ipanas are afraid they will lose their jobs and security if corporate raiders take over the airline.
Seniority is everything. If I go to another airline, I'd have to start at the very bottom. I've got almost 16 years, and you just don't give that up.
It was a pretty secure company until these raiding groups started to surface.
In August 1989, Los Angeles investor and oilman Marvin Davis offered $5.4 billion for United Airlines. In order to finance the tremendous debt the airline would be facing after his buyout, Davis said he would consider selling United's maintenance base in San Francisco. Over 7,000 people work at the San Francisco maintenance base. It's here that planes get taken apart and put back together again.
But at United, they got the people.
They all know their jobs real well.
I spent most of my life here, most of my adult life here at United Airlines. 23 years and 6 months.
I mean, where are these people going to go? Well, where would I go?
The potential leveraged buyout of United by Marvin Davis prompted the pilots to try to buy the airline themselves through an employee stock ownership plan, an ESOP. They made a deal with United CEO Stephen Wolf to buy United for an unprecedented $300 per share. When the deal fell through, stock prices on Wall Street plummeted.
It was obvious, too, after that failed transaction that there was Marvin Davis and there was others. I mean, every day you picked up the newspaper and you were reading about United Airlines. The carrier was in play. Well, we sat down and we analyzed and we said, listen, we got to protect the future of our people. We got to take this carrier out of play. How?
Okay, watch your fingers. It's coming back.
In an unprecedented move, United's three unions, the International Association of Machinists, the Association of Flight Attendants, and the Airline Pilots Association, made an offer to buy 100% of United's stock. They decided to do a leveraged buyout of their own.
Everything we've been doing since deregulation hit this industry in the 70s isn't working. Now here you have an alternative that promises perhaps to eliminate all of that, secure the carrier, secure the future, but with tremendous risk.
We want to own it, we want it managed professionally, and by owning it, we will reap the returns of the benefits of our hard work, and have some control over our own destiny.
The pilots and the flight attendants quickly approved contracts that would cut their wages and put those funds toward the financing of the airline purchase.
Are you kicking Mama's in? Yeah. Mama says,
Sandy and Fidel Gonzalez are both United flight attendants based in Chicago. They think the ESOP is a good way to secure their family.
We do a good job for United. We're very proud of working for United. So we much rather United do their job like we're doing ours on the line, you know.
The new ESOP has definitely helped to bring everybody together. I think everybody realizes that it's all of our airline and we really need each other and we really need to work together.
We want this airline to succeed. I don't think there's an employee in United Airlines that doesn't. So you make those sacrifices. This is going to be a great sacrifice for employees, but at least hopefully we'll have control of our future.
The last holdout was the Machinists Union. the group who had firmly held out on the pilots deal before.
I think it's good for the future for the company and for the employees. And I'm for it, 100%.
Well, it's kind of shaky because it seems to me that it's a conflict of interest, as the union's supposed to be representing us, and instead they're trying to buy out the company, and there's a lot of people that don't want that to happen.
No. Yes or no? No way, no way.
No.
No. No. I think it's a good contract. I'll vote for it.
I heard people come to work saying, no, I'm not going to vote for this, it's horrible, it's blah, 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 blah. And then they go to the meeting and they say, you know, I got turned around completely because it was presented so thoughtfully and so well. And it's just a really exciting process.
It's a history. I'm making history. I can't pass it up at all. I got to take it. Sure.
Machinists Union members voted by a 70% margin to support the ESOP plan and accept concessions in the contract that went with it. In order for the union buyer group to succeed, they need substantial backing from banks and other investors. But the new oil crisis, threat of a recession, and an unstable stock market make loans a lot harder to come by than the junk bonds of the 80s.
United, even in a poor climate, is generating some pretty good cash, which ought to be able to support a $200 purchase price.
But Beekman Eichler's Daniel Hirsch thinks there is an essential conflict when unions try to buy a company.
I think just union leadership is a very political type of thing, just like any elected official, and you need to do things to ensure that you're reelected, and it may not jive, and more than likely, in my opinion, won't jive with the economic realities of the marketplace.
For labor in this industry to survive and to share in the benefits and share in the product of their labor, they're not going to get it at the bargaining table, because no industry has been able to do that when their industries have been deregulated and been assaulted by foreign competition. What is the way is the American capitalistic system, which is to own the business and to get it on the back end as well as the front end.
It's a new type of corporate governance for employee ownership. And let's be realistic, it's never been tried before. It's an experiment, and it's going to work. It's got to work. It's got to work for the future of America.
If some of these unions, like at United, succeed in buying the airline, it could stabilize the carrier and perhaps benefit the public.
I feel that everybody, not only management, but the workers themselves, have got to change their attitude and change their work habits in order to make this work. And if they do, we can make a beautiful company out of this.
I mean, I think we certainly do have a right, and I think now we have a responsibility to own this airline to ourselves.
I looked over the ESOP real good, and I like it. I think it's the thing that's going to save the working man.
The fate of United Airlines is still unclear. To get a better look at what's at stake, let's meet some of the men and women who keep United flying.
For wide bodies, there's a 30-minute time limit, and for narrow bodies, there's a 20-minute time limit. We got to have the first bag and the last bag in before 20 minutes upon arrival of the aircraft. If I didn't want to be outside, I wouldn't have chose this job, but I enjoy being outside. It's got the good with the bad. Summer months make up for winter months and vice versa. When I first started United, I was in the kitchen, but that's like this one aspect of the airline. This is like more aspects. You load and unload, get to meet some of the passengers, and you're always in the public eye when people look out the window, so your appearance-wise, it should be up to standard.
My name is Ellen Overman, and I clean the airplanes. I'm in cabin service. We stock the blue rooms, bathrooms, and clean them in between each trip and change the pillowcases, you know, pick up all the debris in the cabin and try and make it all tidy for the next bunch of customers. If these planes went out without us getting on in between, you know, and cleaning them at each stop, they'd be terrible. Well, I'm glad of that. They need me.
Here is where they prepare the meals for the outbound flights. Food service is what passenger, you know, that's the biggest thing they always complain about, and that's probably the most noticeable part of, you know, flying on an airplane. That's, I don't want to say the highlight of their flight, but for a lot of people it is. That's what they talk about, is what they had to eat. And so, yeah, we want to make sure that the setup is presentable for them and it looks appetizing and appealing, and that's, yeah, I think we do.
We've been working on these for 737 all morning. The main thing you look at is, I guess, the level of the trays, because you have to make sure these are level and the food doesn't fall in your lap. This is a very important job for the public, and they depend on you to get it out.
When I come in the morning, from then until I go home, it's go, 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 go. We always got something going on. You can't have your mind wandering while you're working on these here, because when the plane's flying up there at 40, 50,000 feet, can't pull over the side of the road. Aviation's always been in my blood since I was a little kid, and I fly radio-controlled airplanes, so airplanes has always been an exciting thing to me. I've been with United for about 34 years now, and I've never regretted a minute of it.